Good evening, everyone. Welcome to closing comments here for July 20th. Let's jump right into our charts and take a technical look at today's market action. First up, we got our October live cattle on the board. October contract being the new front month after we rolled out of August live and August feeder markets last week. So October will be the new front month contract going forward here to focus on. Today's action, we did see this market briefly undercut last week's low at 220.5, but seeing good support off that opening range today. This market rallying right back up here, taking all of Friday's losses back here. Got some equal highs coming in right around 223.5. This market is in downtrend territory here at the moment. We do have these major averages all crossing beneath each other here, so we got plenty of resistance overhead. Also seeing some new yearly lows here after undercutting March's low here late last week and early this morning. But at the moment, this market has been oversold here, about 3-4 weeks of straight downside. So this thing has gotten a bit extended, a little bit oversold here. So a little bit of a bounce is in play here for throughout the remainder of this week. But the bulls are going to have a tough climb out of here. Look for plenty of resistance overhead up here in the high 220s up to 230s. All these major averages will offer some more resistance if price is able to retest them. So look for those sellers to get active once again if we do pull back up here towards 230. At the moment, the nice little downtrend is shaping up here. And we should see some more downside or at least some weakness in the near term is to be expected. From a bullish case, we want to make sure that everyone's being defensive, being cautious here. This market needs to find its footing. We are trading down here at new yearly lows, so not a good look for this market here at the moment. We need to see this thing develop a little bit better structure, see a nice little base to trade around before we really commit to the upside. So in the near term, look for this downtrend to continue to play out. Going to continue to see some weakness here in this cattle market here in the near term. We just need to see this thing kind of find its footing. Give us a nice base to trade around, and before we commit to any sort of upside for this live cattle market. Next up, we got our September feeders on the board. This market also snapping back here today, seeing a nice rally up here towards 346.75. Nice little push higher on some decent volume today coming off of these range lows. All year long, we've seen this feeder market just pretty much range bound here between about 335 and 380. Each of these highs and lows, it's not a super clear line here, but we can definitely see 340 to 380 as contained price for the majority of this year's action. So far, we are getting a nice bounce. This market rolling over into September here, seeing a good impulse of volume here today off those range lows. Good pushback off those range lows by those buyers. At the moment, we expect to see this choppy sideways action continue. These bulls just need to continue to defend this 335 to 340 area. As long as they're able to do that, they should see continued support here in the near term. Any sort of breakdowns down here below 335 to 333 will signal some more selling pressure here for this feeder market. So be cautious if we do get any sort of nasty breakdowns below this area. But in the near term, look for these bulls to continue to offer support here at these range lows. Bottom quarter continuing to see some good buying activity. Look for this thing to continue to press back up here towards 350 to 360. See how we respond to these averages if we get back up there. But at the moment, we expect to see this feeder market remain range bound while this live cattle market tries to sort itself out. Next up, our December corn futures on the board. Today's action, we did see this market open up with that Sunday night gap higher. This market moving briefly above last week's high, but just not really seeing much traction today. Good back and forth action here between 70 and 75. Not expecting this market to really go anywhere. Look for this choppy action here between about 450 and 475 to continue. This corn market has been pretty comfortable in that area. Look for it to continue to chop up here around these edges or around these major moving averages. And next up, crude prices. Seen a nice little pop here off the weekend open. This market seen a nice little snap up there towards $85, but failing to get any follow through here today. This market is balancing out here in the low to mid 80s. At the moment, we still got plenty of supply overhead. Look for the sellers to continue to add some pressure to this market. We are just seeing a little bit of volatility pick up here due to what's going on in the news, but this market has been beat down recently, and we've just had a nice little relief rally that happens to help with the news there, but we expect to see these sellers get back in control. Look for this resistance to continue to hold up here between about 80 and 87 bucks. All these prior lows here that were offering good support throughout the volatile season between June and March here will now act as resistance. So look for those sellers to continue to keep this market capped here in about the mid 80s, and we should see this thing continue to bleed back down here towards the $70 range. Next up, equity markets. Just seeing some pretty mixed action here today. This market briefly rallying up but just seeing good back and forth. The Nasdaq hanging out inside of Friday's range. The Dow is the weakest of the bunch here today after undercutting Friday's low. This thing has been seeing relative strength recently, so just seeing a nice little pullback into the averages here, while the S&P and the Nasdaq have been just chopping up here in some nice little ranges. We continue to see higher lows and equal highs here. The S&P looking like it's building up some pressure here, about to make a decision over the next couple of weeks. The Nasdaq continues to stay range bound, holding on to these June lows. The Dow still hanging out up here, but we should see this pullback into these averages offer a good buying opportunity. Still good places to be putting your money to work out there. Just got to be a little bit more selective than we had to be earlier this spring, but still a good environment. We encourage everyone to continue to wait for a lot of these mega cap names to develop some nice bases, find some good structure here. We got a lot of earnings coming up in the weeks to come, so be mindful of that. Have to keep an eye on those earnings dates, but once we do see some nice bases being built, and as long as these earnings reactions can be positive, we could see this earnings season really kick off another power trend similar to what we saw back here in the spring. So just be keeping an eye on all these mega caps. Look for these big names to hold a lot of weight for these indexes. Once we're able to get through some of those earning announcements and get some traction back above those major averages in these mega cap names, we should see these indexes kick back off to the upside and keep this uptrend rocking and rolling. At the moment, this environment still remains fairly healthy, just as long as we can hold on to these ranges we've been trading in over the last couple of weeks. This market should just continue to hang out up here pretty close to these highs, and once we can get some more traction and more participation from these major pieces of the puzzle, we could get this uptrend back on track. So continue to be patient here, continue to watch these big guys, and we'll see this market try and find its footing and get back up to the upside and start heading back towards those highs. That's all we got for tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Catch you guys tomorrow.